let's kickstart the show with the trivia question. This is where I get to rope you in and test your African football knowledge. I get to do it with Brian Mofokeng. He gives you the answer to last week's trivia question. So trust and believe that you have to listen throughout to find out maybe, just maybe, he has the answer within the conversation for this week's question. Last week we asked you a fairly simple question. It was about Mamelodi Sundowns ladies, Brian Mofokeng. And we asked, when they won the inaugural edition of the CAF Women's Champions League back in the year 2021, how many games did they win? They didn't lose anything.
Yeah. You know the nice thing about this, E2, is the fact that when you look at this year's competition, how they won it, they won all the matches.
Yeah.
One thing that was common for both the 2021 edition and this edition, they didn't concede goals.
That's insane.
But in 2021, en route to being crowned champions, they won only 3 matches out of the 5 they played. They a draw in the group stages, draw in the semi-finals, and they scored 2 goals in the group stages, scored 2 goals in the final for them to win. Only 4 goals what they scored in the 2021 edition, but without conceding a single goal. So if you got that right, congratulations, because they only scored 4 goals and won only 3 out of the 5 matches they played in that edition.
Well, Mamelodi Sundowns' dominance, talking about the brick wall that they have within their defense. It says a lot about that, and we see it continuing. A lot of people also asking the question that, what is Coach Jerry Shabalala going to do when most of the players now do become of age? The likes of Bambanani Mbane and Isiwe Mgcoyi. I mean, we've already saw it though now.
Nklapo. I mean, Nklapo is a key player in the defense. You know, she's not celebrated enough. She scores penalties for them. She's very good aerially. She's very good in marshalling the defender. This is why Makurubechi was able to slot in the defense and work very well with her.
Yeah.
You know, she's not the fastest of players, but because of experience and the knowledge that she has, she knows how to get into those good positions and play very well.
Yeah.
Hence, Yokarabo Dlamini actually getting something from Makurubechi, getting something from her. Malepe's game has even improved because of the leadership role that she has at the back, and also because there's that protection just in front of them. There is a new player that came into the team there with Diana coming in.
Yes.
So something different. So I have to say, you know, you're talking about age, and Nklapo is aging. Yeah. So they need to start finding a replacement. But Mbane coming back into the fold, Makurubechi even shows she can actually hold her own. So I think they still have some good quality in the team. Tise Makubele is also part of the squad. So they have a very solid team. I believe that, you know, it won't be any time soon where they're going to lose focus at the back. Yeah,
well, Coach Jerry Shabalala and successive planning, I guess it's already started. You never know with Mamelodi Sundowns. Yeah. They always have those magical cards that they just throw onto the table.
And by the way, he did say that thank you very much for the jacket he gave me when he came onto the show, because that was his lucky charm for the entire tournament. Able to win. So yeah, Coach Jerry, I dropped the message.
Shout out to Ben Sherman. Shout out to Ben Sherman, our apparel sponsor right here on Fut-Afrique. Let's give you the trivia question for this week. We're asking you about the much anticipated Africa Cup of Nations. It's going to be taking place out in Cote d'Ivoire. And the question that we have for you is, prior to Cote d'Ivoire hosting the tournament next year, how many times have they actually hosted this African spectacle?
I love it. That's all I'm going to say. Because some people are going to be thinking, I remember this one.
Yeah.
I remember this one. It was...
yeah. Okay.
Hang in there. Hang in there.
Okay. Okay. If you think you know the answer, make sure that you interact with us on social media. Send through your tweets. We would love to engage with you. But now, let's get into the conversations. 1957, the African spectacle, the African Cup of Nations, came into inception for the very first time. Only 3 nations competed within that competition. Here we are. It is 2023 going into 2024. This will be the competition running for the 34th edition. But if you look at the years, it's been 66 years, and Cote d'Ivoire gets to take center stage. It's a big time, it's a magical time, and this is where the continent somewhat divides.
If you look at it, I mean, I was sitting and thinking about the first one. You know, so this is now the 34th now overall when you talk about the competition in totality. The first one, 1957, 3 nations played.
That's insane.
South Africa was banned at that stage because of apartheid. You know,
so it was actually supposed to be 4.
It's supposed to be 4 because South Africa, Ethiopia, Sudan, as well as Egypt were the founding members of CAF after the FIFA Congress in 1956. So immediately after that, they decided you need to have their own competition on the continent. That's where that all came up about, you know. And you fast forward to 8 teams playing, you know, 8 countries playing in a competition. One of those times was way back in the early 70s, 60s when you still had only 8. Then you fast forward to 16 nations, We are now sitting on 24 nations. So the progression has been unbelievable. It has been years and years over the time that is played from the first one to now having the 34th edition. So that's a long time to talk about it, how far we have come in this competition.
You talk about the nations being added on, right? On the continent, we've got more than 50 countries, but only 24 spots. For it to expand, what would be the ultimate number that would make it fair? Because some people still say 24 is not enough.
You know what? I love to have 32 if I had a choice.
Not 48?
But all I'm saying also at the same time is that 32 would be too much. For me, 24 at the moment is also too much.
Yeah.
Because if you look at that, then somehow the quality of the competition is lost. There are some nations are going to be sitting at the bottom of the groups anyway, where people want to get points from. You can see now in this World Cup qualifiers that we have started now, that shows also that some nations are not at the same level as others. So for them to be able to get to that level, then you start really eliminating teams around their regions for them to eventually dominate and get to the continental tournament where they can play. Because the next step is international or world stage.
Well, the Africa Cup of Nations, it's just the best of the best. So you truly have to prove yourself in order to be part of that conversation as a country. When we come back, we continue with the conversation. We take a look at Group A and we find out who's who, how many times have they competed within this competition, but also, do they know each other well?